You know, I've really found, hey, hey sister, I've really found people to be incredibly unreasonable. I can already see now this is going to be a brutally just rough live. You know, I found that people on the internet to be very unreasonable. Let me explain. Before you guys, we go through the routine that we always go through. Let me just explain something really quick. I found people in the social media space to be incredibly unreasonable. I've had a great day, a very hectic day, and I'm literally just sliding at my laptop because my son had another basketball practice tonight, and I went from session to session to session, and then ran him there and got back, got them fed, and just literally ran on my computer. And I just find people to be just so unreasonable. Like, I have people that actually will inbox me and fuss at me, strangers that I don't even know, and will fuss at me because I haven't returned their message, as if I get 2 inboxes a day. It's just wild how unreasonable people are. And people just really love to find reasons to complain. And it's so annoying. And the crazy part about being in my position, it's kind of like, if you hit somebody first, no big deal. But when you get slapped back, people get real offended. And I don't understand why people get real offended when you slap them back. It's just so wild to me. And so I apologize. What time is it? I've got 9:20. If it wasn't for the love that I have for actually doing the work that I do, I probably would have just canceled tonight. I'm just being honest with you because it's just been that kind of a day. But I look forward to Thursdays. I look forward to Mondays with my subscribers. And I look forward to Thursdays with you. So we're here. But yeah, people are just like, this sense of entitlement that this generation has is insane. Y'all be entitled to free stuff. How can you be entitled to something you ain't paying for? Can anybody explain that? Like, I literally get fussed at by strangers. How are you fussing at me over something you're not paying for? Oh my God. Yeah, I do need a break, but not tonight. We're not getting a break tonight. Y'all gonna get some work tonight. And I want to really help some people get free tonight. I really do. I do, because gaslighting is a really big deal. And I'm going to teach it in a way that's really easy to understand. But I just had to, y'all just give me 3 minutes to just do a little rant real quick. Like, people are so unreasonable. And you're right, Lamicia. Hey, one of my great favorite clients, because they think because you're in this space, you're just supposed to shut up and take it. No, I'm good at popping people back. And sometimes it be subtle. It ain't spicy, but sometimes it's just subtle. I was on a little group chat today, and two of my friends were really laughing at me because I said something back to them that was so subtle, but it was such a jab. And it was just so nasty, but it was low key. Like, they didn't realize, one of them didn't realize they were getting hit until they just really thought about it. Like, wow, he just popped off. Like, y'all, I'm just telling you, people are so unreasonable. And it's a reflection of our culture. And it's the reason why many of you are dysfunctional at your core. Some of you would be able to get beyond some of this anxiety and some of these challenges that you had if you got rid of this sense of entitlement. Oh my God. You'd be shocked at what you can fix when you stop living your life as if people, including your enemies, including your family, including people that don't know you, you'd be shocked at what you could get accomplished if you stop acting as if all of us owe you something. We don't owe you nothing. So it's going to be fun tonight. I'm excited. I ain't rested. And typically those be the best nights. I'm taking new clients right now. I think I might have 1 or 2 slots open and a few packages open. I think less than 5. It won't last through the weekend. So go ahead and book those now. Just jump off the line and do it now if you want it, because it will definitely probably go after tonight. So I had to get that off my chest. I'll talk more about that in a second. Do me a favor. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, people are so bold behind a computer, man. And it's wild out here. And I don't get it, but I do, because we're so entitled and we think people owe us stuff. And so then you get offended because people won't hear you. You're not listening to me. I have a voice. Listen to my voice. People don't have to listen to nothing you say. People don't have to listen to anything you say. People don't owe you anything. They owe me a voice. Says who? Where'd you learn that? No, you're entitled to have a voice, but stop living your life as if somebody owes you a microphone. You got one. And it's the mental, and that's why many of you are literally stuck in stuff you can't shake, and you've been battling the last 10, 15 years because you have an entitlement or an entitled mentality, and it will keep you stuck, it will keep you broken, and it will keep you dysfunctional. I promise you. It's just wild. Like, the internet is a real weird place, but I love y'all. Hey, do me a favor. Because I need to just kind of arrange my notes really, really, really quickly. It's not going to take long. Y'all know the drill. If this is not your first time, you know the drill. Do me a favor. Go ahead and type in the city, state that you are tuned in from, or the country if you're not from America, where I am. And so let me see, so I can see where everybody's tuned in from. All right, go ahead and do that really quickly. Let's do that in 60 seconds. City, state, if you're from America, or country if you're not from America. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Good. Atlanta, Wichita, Selma, Detroit. Got good news for Atlanta real soon. Richmond, Detroit, Portland, Charlotte, San Diego. Yeah, there's a YouTube video, coach. It sure was. Impromptu. No notes. Covington, Orlando, Canada, Columbus. Hey, wow. Stockton twice. Lynchburg, okay. Atlanta, appreciate you. Los Banos, California. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Charlotte, all right, is rolling. Jersey, Chicago, Alabama, San Antonio, Minnesota, Orlando, Maryland, Trinidad and Tobago. Hope to be there soon. Indiana, Florida, Baltimore, Princeton, New Jersey. Thanks so much. Hanging out in LA. All right, let me see. Of course, you're traveling. That's what you do. Florence, Tucson, Chicago again, Dallas again, Philly, Chicago again. Wow, Jersey, Atlanta, all states. I like that. Bronx. Thank you. Northern VA. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, brother. Sorry, I missed you. Mansville, Texas, Omaha, Nebraska, Northern Virginia, Memphis, Tennessee. Pocatello. I hope I said that right. Idaho, Colorado. Hope to be there soon. Lexington, I've never been skiing, so Colorado is on the list. Trinidad, again, I get a lot of love from Trinidad. I can't wait to be in Trinidad really soon as well. Scranton, Virginia, Norfolk, Australia, Buffalo. All right. Danville, Kentucky, Winston, thank you so much. Goldsboro, hey, Ms. America. Palm Beach is so different, Ms. America. I appreciate you. Scranton, Mansville, Texas, Springfield. Wow, Jamaica. It's a lot. We're everywhere. And P-Town, VA. Okay. All right. Chicago. I am really excited. Jamaica again. Wow. Really excited because our work has long reached 50 states, but now we're at 40 countries. And at 40 countries and right around 1,030 clients. And that's before the new clients start in January. So everything is really growing really well. And I appreciate your support. All right, let's get into this. I don't want to take a lot of time. I want to thank all of my Patreon and IG subscribers for subscribing. Thank you so much for doing that. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that. Big shout out to Coach Sean, who's helping me manage a lot of my work. YouTube just surpassed 10,000 followers this week. And the crazy part about YouTube is that I was using YouTube maybe once every 2 months. And now we're intentionally using it, and it's a zoom past 10,000 followers. And so I want to shout out all of you for supporting that. Do me a favor, if you have not followed me on YouTube, do that right away. Next week, I will be starting these Heal My Life videos. I've got about 70 plus odd submissions. I'm going to probably do 2 submissions per video. So it's going to be really heavy on YouTube, doing a lot of work there, and appreciate your support. I'll get into more announcements later at the end. You guys support the show. The ways to support the show should be on the screen. If not, we'll get them up there. And make sure you support the show. I really appreciate it. For many of you, this is your counseling, coaching, therapy session every week. And so you might see people drop salads in the chat. They're not being funny. They're buying me lunch. That salad means lunch. That's what I typically eat during the week when I'm behaving on my diet or on my eating regimen. And so support the show. You should see the ways to support on the screen. Also, finally, our moderators are outstanding. I got a lot of compliments. Somebody complimented me recently. Yeah, somebody complimented me recently. A friend of mine complimented me recently about my moderators and how lethal they are. They are people after my own heart. Very lethal. They'll zap you in a minute. Please don't drop in the comments, y'all, and be disrespectful to other people that are tuned in tonight. This is a community of learners and people that have one thing in common, and that is to heal and to grow. And so please be respectful of other people in the comments. If you say something crazy towards each other or definitely towards me, you'll probably be escorted out of the room. And I honestly love to see it because they're no joke. And they have a zero tolerance policy for bullies, just like I do. But if you see a crazy comment and my moderators happen to miss it, just drop some eagles in the chat, right? Just put an eagle in the chat. The moderators will see it. They'll find it. They'll get rid of it like a plane shoots another plane out of the sky. And we drop those eagles because here at Inspired Nation, eagles fly higher than birds. All right. I've got announcements, but I'll get to all of that in a second. Let's get into this tonight. I want you to put the topic in the chat, the gaslighter's misery. That's what we're talking about. This is going to be fun. Oh my God. I hope y'all ready to work. The gaslighter's misery is what we're talking about. I want you to put that in the chat. The gaslighter's misery is what we're talking about, okay? And hopefully everything is okay. Everybody can see everything okay. I just saw a comment in TikTok. TikTok, if you're having some challenges, it's probably TikTok. It has nothing to do with me. TikTok still has my content shadow ban for whatever dumb reason. So that's that. Let's talk about this tonight. The gaslighter's misery. And I want to deal with this because, and I hope you've got something to write with because you're going to need some plain. Who's in the kitchen? Son, you do me a favor. Can you bring me a couple of plain sheets of paper from the printer, please? No. I have some. Never mind. Thank you. I want to talk about this because there are words in this space that I don't like. And if you work with me, if you're a client especially, you know this, so you probably know where I'm going to go at first when I say what I'm about to say. But there's some words in this space that I don't like. In this counseling, coaching, therapy space that I don't like. And one of those words is gaslight. Some of those other words are narcissist, manipulator, manipulator. I really hate narcissists because nowadays, if you disagree with people, you're a narcissist. Oh my God. Some of us have to get off the internet. We have to get off the internet. And if you've been following me any significant period of time and been on any of my lives, you know that I give you definitions of these terms that can be very complicated and I make them very simple. It's why I teach in analogies. I teach in analogies because people understand stories. And if you can make a story that is simple, make something complicated make sense, people's lives change. All right. And so people really use these terms a lot and they overuse them. I hate trigger. That's the other one. Trigger, narcissist, manipulator, gaslight. I hate all 4 of them. The reason I do is because people randomly and rawly use them and have no clue what they're talking about. So I want to talk about gaslighting because this is a very common thing that occurs, particularly in today's time when it comes to people engaging with others, especially as it relates to connections, the connections we have, whether they be romantic, platonic, familial, whatever it is. But I want to deal with gaslighting tonight, and I want to explain gaslighting in a very simple way. And then I want to talk to you about what it looks like to be in the middle of a situation where you are being gaslit versus being in a situation where they've cut the gas off, but you're still dealing with the repercussions of gaslighting. Because the reality is, some of you have accused future connections of gaslighting you based off of behaviors you've experienced from past connections. And when we don't heal from past connections, we will carry over the residue of past connections into future connections. So you were dating a narcissist in the past, and now everyone who shows you a tendency related to narcissism is magically a narcissist. No, I would argue with you that what you're dealing with is the remnants of gaslighting. Because you do understand that when you cut gas off, you can still smell it. Which means if you've been in a situation or relationship or connection with someone who was gaslighting you, you can leave that relationship. But if you have not healed, you will still walk around and smell what? Gas. This is going to be good. Might be the live of 2024. Okay? So we got to deal with all of this. And this is why healing is so important. Hey, y'all, if you ain't got it, they started going out this week. 5 areas of healing. You need this. This is your manual. It needs to be on your desk. It needs to be near your journal. It needs to be with you. Why? Because ultimately, we can teach on this all night tonight. But if you don't heal from situations where you have been improperly communicated with, you will carry the residue of that with you to other connections. All right. Now, let me give you a definition of gaslighting. My website, Mari. Hey, right on my website, look at the link in my profile. You'll see it there. And there's a direct link right to the book. Let's talk about this. Let me give you a definition of gaslighting. All right. Let me give you a definition of gaslighting. And it's going to be a simple one. Probably not something you're going to see on the internet. I know it's not, because all of my definitions are custom. Let's talk about this. My definition of gaslighting is this. I want you to record this now. You ready? You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow and the rest of the weekend until you get back to work Monday. All right. Put this in the chat. Here's my definition. Gaslight: the attempt to convince someone of something other than what they know to be true. I'll say this again. It sounds like a tongue twister, but let me just teach it the way I do. The attempt to convince someone of something other than what they know to be true. The attempt to convince someone of something other than that which they know to be true. The attempt to convince someone of something other than that which they know to be true. This is gaslighting. Doc, why is the definition so broad? Because when you attempt to narrow down terms like this to only specific situations, you miss the essence of what the terms really are about. Some of you are saying this is the perfect definition. It is. If you really know what gaslighting is, I've just given you a cheat code. The attempt to convince someone of something other than that which they know to be true. It's gaslighting. Now, there are 2 parts of this that are involved. When we think about gaslighting, thank you. I'm getting a lot of compliments on the definition. I appreciate it. If you followed me, I create custom definitions because a gift that I have is to just take what's complicated and make it simple. Look, this definition of gaslighting implies 2 parts. Number 1, it implies you need a convincing. Right? I hope y'all are writing this down. There are 2 parts to this. 1, There has to be a convincing, what I just call a convincing. What does that mean? Someone in this connection has to attempt to convince you of something. It can be anything. That wall is black. You're ugly. I'm being faithful. Whatever it is. Gaslighting involves two things. One, it involves a convincing. Somebody has to be attempting to convince someone of something. Okay? That's number one. The second part of gaslighting, in order for gaslighting to absolutely exist, one, there has to be a convincing, and two, there has to be a party that is attempting to be convinced of something other than what they know is their reality. So part one, there has to be a convincing. Part two, there has to be a receiving, what I would call a receiving party, who is questioning or being forced to question what they believe to be their reality. Who's being forced to question what they believe to be their reality. If you are dealing with gaslighting and you do not have both of these parts, it's not gaslighting. Why is this important? Because a lot of people literally walk around and accuse others of gaslighting, but they don't have both parts. Let me give you a good example. Let me give you a good example. You ever seen the show American Idol? I'm talking about the original American Idol with Simon Cowell. When somebody gets on that stage in the first couple of weeks and think they can sing good enough to be on Broadway or wherever, and they literally sound like someone has their hands around their neck choking them. If Simon or one of the judges say, you can't sing, you belong on a cruise ship. In today's terms, people take that feedback and call it gaslighting. I'm not telling you what I've heard. I'm telling you what I've had clients come to me and attempt to explain. The doc, I was in a relationship, they were gaslighting. Well, what happened? Well, they told me I wasn't, they told me I was dirty and I didn't take care of my space. Then I would ask, is your space dirty? And then they would say something like, well, I think it's clean. And then I'd say, okay, well, turn your camera around. Let me see the space they used to talk about. You see cups on the floor, trash over in the corner, dog stuff everywhere, fur everywhere, coats thrown around. And then I'd say, well, your place doesn't look too clean. And then they would say something like, well, isn't cleanliness objective? Or subjective? And then I would say something like, do restaurants have sanitation numbers and grades? Everything, y'all, ain't subjective. Some things are very right and very wrong, very black and very gray. And let me tell you what the number one enemy is to false gaslighting. The number one enemy to false gaslighting. When I say false gaslighting, I'm talking about people that are out here accusing everybody of gaslighting them. The number one enemy to false gaslighting, guess what it is? You've heard this word before. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is the number one enemy to false gaslighting. Because when I watched the show American Idol, used to watch it, and these people got on this stage convinced that they were going to get a record deal, and they had no pitch or tone at all. I sit there and look and say, how did you get past all your friends, your family members, your coworkers, your ex-bays? How did you get past all of them and manage to get on this stage and think you could sing? I'll tell you how. Because when somebody probably said, hey, you can't sing, they said, don't gaslight me. What? Oh my God. Don't do what to you? Don't gaslight me. Folks, that ain't gaslighting. Y'all stop. Gaslighting requires two parts, y'all. It requires, number one party has to be in a mode of convincing, trying to convince the other party of something. Part two, the person who's attempting to be convinced has to be forced to question what they believe to be a real reality. Reality and subjectivity are not the same. And people struggle with this term because they struggle with self-awareness. They struggle with self-awareness because they don't like the truth. It's a great question. B on TikTok said, well, then, Doc, where are they getting their definitions from? The internet. You're getting it from the internet. And this is why in 2025, I'm going to tell you now, my tone in 2025, in terms of my focus, I'm going to be teaching on mainly two things all year. Three things: healing, obviously, self-awareness, and letting go. That's all I'm talking about. And all three of those topics are laced in one word you got to have to heal, and one word you got to have in order to move beyond being gaslit. And that word is called the truth. So it's wild. Like, y'all got to stop this. Just stop. The number one enemy to false gaslighting is self-awareness. Okay? Are we all clear on the definition? If you are, I want you to type church in the comments with as many R's as possible. Support the show. I had to put them on the big screen. Thank you so much, Emily. Is this making sense? Type church in the comments with a bunch of R's. Let me see it. All right, because I want to give you an analogy. I'm going to give you two analogies, and then we're going to get our papers out. You should be writing these things down. We're going to get our papers out, and we're going to make this really technical, and I'll be done. Okay? Now let's stop. I see a really good question, and I want to pick on this user. I'm not picking on the user, but I want to use the question to point out something, because here's a really good question. I happen to look up and see. To be theirs, or a reality, what's the difference? Let's just say this. What we need to stop doing is using the word reality with us or their. In other words, let's stop using the phrase my reality, my truth. This is going to hurt y'all. You don't own the truth. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. We got to chill using the term my reality or my truth, because your truth is really just your created form of reality. It ain't a tongue twister. Listen to what I'm saying. And I know saying my truth is a popular thing, but you don't own truth. The only thing that you own is subjective. Truth is greater than you. And you've got to have a somewhat of a stoic mentality, grounded in some spirituality, to understand that. And this is why when I talk about spiritual things, I expect some of you to get a little disjointed. And I'm very cautious when I attempt to explain spiritual things to non-spiritual people. You don't get it. You don't own the truth. It doesn't belong to you. So when you say, classic example, I'm living my truth. What does that mean? You're living your truth? What does that mean? Here's the better way to say it. I'm living the way I desire to live. And if you don't have a spiritual frame, recognizing that there are powers that are greater than you, what I just said is going to go in one ear and out the other. Is this making sense? So that's part of the problem with this. Yes, you can create your own reality. But when you say the phrase, I'm creating my own reality, you're even speaking to a greater spiritual principle. The fact that you can literally speak things into existence into your life is a very real thing, but it's a spiritual principle. But most of you aren't talking about that when you say, I'm living my truth. You're not talking about speaking stuff into your own reality. What you're doing is attempting to put a spiritual principle on a natural choice. It ain't the same. A natural choice is not a spiritual truth. I feel like I'm in deep waters with y'all. Is this making sense or not? A spiritual principle and a natural truth, not the same. Okay? Now, example. Hope you got your journal out. Let's just say, you walk in a house. Let's say you walk in a house and this is your house. Yeah, you walk in your house, and when you get in your house, and your partner, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, whatever, your partner's in the house. And when you get in the house, you walk in the kitchen and your partner's standing in the kitchen. This is going to be a good analogy. You'll never see gaslighting the same. You walk in and your partner's standing in the kitchen, and you walk in the kitchen and you have a gas oven, and you say, man, I smell gas. And your partner, who's in the kitchen, standing by the stove, looks at you and says, you don't smell any gas. And you say to your partner, yes, I do. I've used my oven before. The gas is on. And your partner says, no, you don't. You don't smell any gas in here. I've been in here the whole time. The gas is not on. But your partner says, or you say the gas is on, but your partner says, no, the gas isn't on. I didn't cut it on. And you say, don't tell me the gas isn't on. I know what my oven smells like. And your partner says, listen, I'm telling you right now to your face that I did not cut on the oven and that the gas is on, and don't ask me again. You're crazy. You're delusional. Something's wrong with you. And you two get into an argument over whether or not the oven is on. So much so that you, who walked in, begin to question if you really smelled gas in the first place. Because the argument of your partner was so convincing that you began to believe what they're attempting to convince you of. You begin to believe what they're attempting to convince you of more than what you know to be true. Folks, that's called gaslighting. You know you smell gas. It is your house. You know what a gas oven smells like. You know that the oven has been cut on. You know all of that is the case. But a person looks you in your face and tells you that what you know to be true ain't true. And initially, you attempt to put up a fight because of what you know to be true. But over time, their argument wears out your ability to stick fast to what you know. That's gaslighting. Why is this important? Because I want you to record this now. Gaslighters, narcissists, and manipulators are first cousins. Are y'all writing that down? Put it in the chat. Who's supporting the show? I don't think moderators, nobody supporting the show. This is one y'all gonna want to see again. Gaslighters, narcissists, manipulators, first cousins. They ain't got the same daddy, but their daddy and mamas probably like brothers and sisters. Oh my God. You want to know why? Because they carry one main thing in common. Somebody just put it in the chat. I believe they were looking at my notes. They carry one thing in common. You know what that is? I want you to put the word in the chat in all capital letters, and I want you to put it in your journal, and I want you to circle it as many times as you have to. Gaslighters, narcissists, manipulators carry one trait in common, and that trait is called deception. Deception. People who gaslight, deceptive. Narcissists, deceptive. Manipulators, deceptive. So when you tell me that my oven isn't on when I know I smell gas, and you bend over backwards to convince me otherwise, not only are you are wrong intentionally. That, my friends, is called deception. And what makes gaslighting so powerful is that not only is a person lying to you, they're lying on purpose. On purpose, Joe. This is Deception 101. Now, Simon Cowell would be deceiving a singer if that singer could really sing and say to them, no, you belong on a cruise ship, but they really can sing. That's gaslighting. But if you know you can't sing, you're not being gaslit. There's no deception involved. Gaslighting has to involve deception because it has to involve what we said earlier in the live, a convincing. Now, this is good because I see a really good question on IG. I'm trying to scan for questions as I talk. I don't normally do this format, but I know this is a very popular topic. What is their motivation? It can be a lot of different things. It can be a lot of different things. Motivation can come in a lot of different forms. And I'm going to kind of talk about this in a second. I don't want to give you one of the forms, but let me just say this to you. Deception is always about having the upper hand. Let me put it that way so I don't get too far in my notes. Deception is all about having the upper hand. And some people gaslight with the intent to have the upper hand. Some people may gaslight unintentionally, but at the root cause of that unintentional gaslighting could be some greater challenge. An attachment style issue, might be an avoidant, might be dismissive avoidant, could be a lot of different things. May have childhood challenges and trauma where their deception becomes a form of safety for them, where people who had this problem badly will go to trying to deceive people as a means of protecting themselves. It sounds weird to healthy ears. But when a person grows up in chaos and they've had to be deceptive to survive chaos, being deceptive becomes a natural response to what? Chaos, to love, to relationships, to anything that makes he or she uncomfortable. So it can be intentional, it can be unintentional, but hear me clearly, it's never acceptable. I want to say this loud. I don't care if it's intentional or unintentional, it ain't ever acceptable. This for all of you that's making excuses, because there's always one or two. There's always one or two. The avoidant video that I did last week on the dismissive avoidant that went viral crazy. It was one of the worst videos I've recorded in a long time. I'm being honest. I recorded the video. I wasn't feeling good that day. I recorded it. I was trying to hurry up and get through it. I edited it and I uploaded it. I forgot about it. It wasn't even my best. But there's always two or three people that have something to say. And there was somebody in the comments that said, well, this ain't all the way true, because some people can be avoided and unintentionally avoided because of their childhood trauma. So what? If you're an adult, you're responsible. And I want to say this loud. I don't care what you have. If you're an adult and you're aware that you have whatever you have, it is your responsibility to deal with it. Because intentional or unintentional, it's never acceptable. Oh my God. That's the problem. I have clients who have BPD, bipolar disorder, and they own their behavior. They own their challenge. They own their healing. They own the steps necessary to fix what it is that they got going on. And being an adult or having a condition does not give you the reason or the right to ignorantly live by it. Stop. Y'all ain't gotta like this. I don't care. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, it's never acceptable. That's the problem with this culture. Y'all think because you got something, it's acceptable. Stop it. In fact, I have a lot of children. My youngest client is 9. I have children that own their behavior more than adults do. And it's wild to me. It's wild. In this culture where you guys are quick to grab labels and run with it, it makes sense. You would rather have a label than be free. Oh my God. And that's why many of you are struggling bad. So narcissism, gaslighting, manipulation, they got something in common, and it's called deception. So when you're in a relationship and somebody says to you, why do you accuse me of cheating? And you have every clear sign that they've cheated. But then that person says, I'm not a cheater. You're the problem with the attitude. You're the reason why our relationship is struggling. You're the problem and the reason why we're not doing as well as we could. And you begin to question yourself instead of focusing on what you smell, them cheating. It's called gaslighting. This making sense or no? Y'all not supporting the show. I'm taking this down if you don't. This is going to make all the people, the entitled people that like to fuss at me about stuff that I don't even know. This is going to make y'all real mad. This is what a lot of people do. You literally accuse people of things to divert their attention from the truth. And this is what makes gaslighting, narcissism, manipulation so powerful. They're like first cousins. They ain't identical, but they got a lot in common. Now, let me give you another analogy, and then we're going to go to the big sheet of paper and we're going to do some writing together. I like that. Can I use that one blazing queen? Somebody on TikTok, one blazing queen. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Said, I had a man tell me you're going to believe me or your lying eyes. Classic statement. That's perfect. Are you going to believe me or what you actually see? Now, what you see can change. You can't always believe everything you see, believe it or not. But this is why your healing has to involve 3 prongs. Watch. Mental, emotional, and spiritual. Many of you got the mental and emotional part for the most part. You ain't got no spiritual foundation. Let me tell you why that's important. Because when your mind tells you something is true, your emotions agree, but then some things still aren't quite tied together, you got to tap into a faith that's greater than what you understand. And that's why some of you ain't left that bad relationship. Not because you know it ain't going to hell. You already know the relationship on the way to hell. Your mind's told you, your emotions have agreed, but you ain't got the faith to believe in the stuff you don't understand. And that's why some of us don't have a problem making the decision, because we get our mind on board, we get our emotions on board, and for the stuff that don't make sense, when the decision aligns with our values, we apply faith and we let the chips fall where they may. And that's why my work is a little different. Most counselors, coaches, therapists, whatever, they don't even include a spiritual component. I do. Because there are going to be times in your life you're going to have to make decisions where the math ain't mathing, but your mind sees it clearly. Your emotions agree with it pleasantly. And in a balanced way, your values support it. All you need is the faith to do something different. And guess what? Your thoughts can't give you faith. Your emotions can't give you faith. You got to be tapped into something greater than you. I have clients from all around the world. I have friends that are atheists who don't believe there is a higher power, but they do believe, hey, doc, I got one good friend of mine. He's a nerd like me. We have some incredible conversations, never arguments. We don't agree on a lot of things from a spirituality standpoint, but we have some incredible conversations. And he said to me, doc, listen, I got to tell you, I don't believe in this Jesus thing you believe in, but I tell you what, there are some things that happen that I don't quite understand and I have no explanation for. I said, that's what faith is for. I said, brother, because where your sentence stops, mine begins. Where your understanding stops, mine begins. That's a word by itself. And he done did, doc, you're so crazy, doc. Oh my God, doc, one day, doc, you're gonna convince me, doc. I just got a feeling you're gonna convert me. I ain't trying to convert you. I'm just telling you, where your understanding stops, some of us, our understanding just begins. And that's greater than what your mindset, and that's greater than your emotions. Is this making sense or no? So I want to give you another analogy about this gaslighting thing, and then we got to go a little bit deeper. All right, so we get the analogy with the oven, the gas oven. That makes sense. All right, let's talk about y'all supporting the show. I don't think y'all supporting the show. I'm about to start playing slow music, and just wait on y'all to support the show, or I'm gonna take this down. All right. I hope my life coach has the 3 pillars like you. I don't know unless they stole mine. I'm not being funny. I created the 5 areas of healing, but you can get the book. Please get the book. All right. I think you'll like it. Let me give you another analogy. Let's imagine a little kid is brought by his or her parent to an ocean. That's okay, James. James, I'm balling over here. That's all right. People cry all the time on my calls. I'm a Muslim American. I love your wisdom. Thank you so much. I have a lot of clients that are Muslim and a lot of really good friends that are. That's just what it is. Like, healing's the universal language of humanity. It's not your religion. Because if you spend enough time with me, I can poke holes in that. I can't poke holes in God, but I can poke holes in a lot of religion. I'm not going to get in trouble. Let me just leave y'all alone. Oh my God. I'm not going to mess with y'all tonight. Okay, so I love that. Listen to me. Let's say a child is brought to the ocean by his or her parent. And a child is brought to the ocean by his or her parent. And this child is, say, 1 year old, 2 years old. And the parent is holding the child's hand on the edge of the waters where the waves come. And the parent's holding the child by the hand. And so when the parent is holding the child by the hand at the edge of the ocean, that child is going to feel safe. This is going to be so good. That child is going to feel safe. 1 year old, at the edge of an ocean that is clearly greater than him or her, but has the assurance of having their hand held by someone bigger than them who's right there with them. Now watch. They're going to feel safe because their hand is being held. Ocean waves are going to come, going to knock them back a little bit. They might fall down, but hey, I got your hand. But watch this. After that parent makes the child feel safe and has convinced that child that they have nothing to worry about, that parent says, okay, I'm going to let your hand go. And when that parent lets the child's hand go, what happens? The wave comes, knocks the child on the ground. Now, when the wave knocks the child on the ground, first time it knocks the child on the ground, that child is probably going to laugh. Oh my God, this is so fun. And there's water. Woo-hoo-hoo. Might be a little bit of shock. Never been knocked over by water. Never seen this much water. That child's going to try to get up. And as that child is getting up, what's going to come again? Another wave. And it's going to knock the child down. The second time that child falls, that child might still laugh, chuckle a little bit, or might still be a little startled. But that child's going to have a different reaction. Wow, I get knocked down again. So that child's going to try to get up, and what's going to come? Another wave. And when that next wave comes, and that child is now fallen over on their stomach, and they're trying to get up, now they're feeling fear. And what makes them fearful is that now they're being knocked over, not by one wave, watch, but a constant stream of waves. So naturally, after about the third time, the child's going to look up for who? Their parent. But the parent, instead of making the person feel safe, decides to let them figure it out. That's where the deception is. Let them figure it out. You can get up. When the child notices that the parent is not helping, the child not only questions his or her own safety, but the child then develops a trust complex with the one that they shared the ocean with in the first place. Oh my God. But here's the problem. When him or her attempt to get up, guess what comes? Another wave. And they try to get up, and another wave. And watch this. If that child never gets to his or her feet, what are the waves going to do? The waves will slowly drag the child from where they are, somewhat on safe ground, and pull them out into a territory where there's deep water and they're alone. Let me help you. You ain't caught what I'm saying yet. Let me make this real plain. When you've been gaslit, another great purpose or point of gaslighting is to pull you into a space that is not familiar to you and challenge you to figure out how to survive. Did y'all write this down? Another point of gaslighting is to pull you into a space you're not familiar with. And then for the person or people that gaslight you to challenge you to figure out a way how to survive. And here's the crazy part. The same parent that came in the water with you, a lot of times has the ability to cut the gas off. All they got to do is reach down and grab your hand. Some of you are already putting down one of the first qualities of when we talk about when the gas is on. This is going to make sense. I see the word isolation. It's one of the first things we're going to talk about. Is this making sense or not? Y'all share the video. We're up to 2, 4, 6, right under 700 viewers. Let's get up to 1,000 tonight on all the networks. So on TikTok, Facebook, IG, YouTube. Is this making sense? When you're being gaslit, I've discovered in my work and in my space that gaslighting tends to not just be a one-time wave. When you're being gaslit, you're getting hit over and over and over again. I can't tell you just once that the gas is on. I got to keep telling you. I'm sorry, that the gas is off. I got to keep telling you. Gas is off. Gas is off. I don't care what you smell. Gas is off. Gas is off. Why? Because it is the consistent beating of the waves that causes that baby to what? Get delusional. Isn't it funny? You've ever seen a baby that's been in that position? The first time it happens, they're laughing. Oh my God, this is fun. Second time, they're a little, wait a minute. Third time, they're afraid. By the fifth or sixth time, they're gasping for air. Because you know what those waves do? Let's talk about this. Those waves, I can't say that yet. I'll get to that in a sec. Let's just get to it. Y'all, this making sense? Because I just got to get into my notes. This making sense? I ain't even touched my notes yet. It is a constant, continual being beat down. Okay? Get a sheet of paper. You know we're practical over here. Get a sheet of paper. Long piece. We're going to do a long T. Let's do a big T. Down the middle. From top bottom. I'll use my red tonight. Are y'all supporting the show? Moderators, are they supporting? Because I'm going to take it down if they're not. Some of y'all going to get free tonight. We're going to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to give you a T chart. We're going to walk through some things, and then I'm done. I want you to create a big T. On a sheet of paper. I want to shout out, I think his name is Keith Lee, the guy that does the food reviews. I posted him on my story. I saw him on Club Shay Shay, and I thought that was amazing, where he put up a post about where he started and how he built where he is organically. And I really give I give great great, 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 great respect to people who have built things from the ground and from scratch. Nobody helped you. Nobody looked out for you. Nobody threw you a lifeline. Nobody gave a great connection. There are a lot of people I've learned in this space that can help you, but they won't help you. And to see him build his network and his work from what it was to where it is and end up on Club Shay Shay, it was very motivating for someone like me on the chitlin circuit that's just figuring stuff out. And so I want to really shout him out. I thought that was really cool. All right. Create a T like this. Okay, can y'all do that? All right, create you a T. And this is what I want you to do. All right, create you a T just like this, all the way down your page in your journal, separate sheet, doesn't matter. And here's what I want you to do. On the left side, I want you to write 2 words. Gas on. On the left side, I want you to write the words gas off. I'll teach you guys something. Gas on and gas off. Doc, how do I know I'm being gaslit? How do I know if the gas is on or if the gas is off? Let me give you some signs. I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes talking about this Miyagi style. I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes talking about this. I'm going to give you some signs of what it feels like when the gas is on. And I'm going to give you some signs when it feels like the gas has been temporarily shut off. Now, keep in mind what I said. If you run gas in a house and you cut it off, you're going to still feel the residue of the what? The gas. Number 1, on gas on, you're going to know. T accounts, right. You're going to know that the gas is on if you have felt isolation. The number 1 sign or precursor to gaslighting is isolation. I like this. Kiara said, this is hands-on learning. This is what sticks. It does. I'm a very practical teacher in this work. The number 1 sign or precursor to gaslighting is isolation. That in fact, when I continue to beat you with waves over and over and over and over again, it's going to pull you out into the ocean. And lo and behold, you're going to be in the ocean, alone, away from shore, family, friends, people who love you, people who care about you. And you're in the ocean. And guess what? At that point, it's just you, what you have been told, and the person who put you out there. Wow. Oh my God. It's just you, the stuff you've been told, and the person who put you there. I am Chitlin Circuit. Nobody knows me, and that's fine. I like being under the radar right now. It's all good. Growing this organically. Does this make sense? You literally end up in the ocean because the waves have beat you so bad that they begin to pull you out, and they isolate you from people on shore, family members, friends, co-workers, relatives, folks that care about your well-being. This is why anytime you're in a relationship with somebody who don't want you to be around nobody else, run as fast as you can. Oh my God. Run as fast as you can. Nah, baby, the way I do relationship, it's just me and my girl. And that's it. It's me, my girl in the world. It's me and my guy in the world. It sounds great. It sounds wonderful. But I'm telling you, if that person ain't healed, number 1, if they healed, they're not even talking like that. Because a healed person doesn't just want you to themselves. A healed person appreciates who you are and everything that you are, yet they also appreciate the people who love you. And there's still a lot of people in 2024 saying stuff like, you don't need nobody else but me, baby. It's the precursor to isolation. And that, my friends, is the precursor to manipulation, deception, narcissism, whatever you want to call it. I don't know about narcissism. Now I'm acting like y'all. You get my point. So isolation. When the gas is on, you're going to know you're being gaslit if you slowly look around and notice, well, doggone it, I feel like I'm by myself. You probably are. Is this making sense? What about when, let me give you a second thing that shows that the gas is on. Let me give you a second thing that shows that happens when the gas is on. You ready? A second sign, symptom that the gas is on, delusion. Delusion. A second strong sign that the gas is on is delusion. Now watch this. Those waves have been beating you down. You've been knocked down, you get up. You get knocked down, you get up. You get knocked down, you get up. What also happens in that process? What also happens in that process is you get tired. You get tired from the waves. That baby, that 1-year-old, back to the analogy, gets tired of getting knocked down and being brought back up again. Knocked down and being brought back up again. What happens when we get fatigued? We get delirious. So when you're delusional and you've been knocked down a million times, you start to get to a place where you feel like you don't have the strength to get up, when really you do. You're just tired of being knocked down. I want you to record this, and this is going to freeze you. Don't ever confuse what you're tired of with what you can't move beyond. Oh my God. Don't ever confuse what you're tired of from what you can't move beyond. A lot of y'all are getting beat up by stuff and people. And you like, I can't move beyond this. No, baby, you tired. The best way to get out of that situation, and a 1-year-old doesn't understand this. See, we have to be careful of where we are mentally and emotionally and spiritually. If you're in a situation where the waves are knocking you down and you keep trying to get up and it knocks you down, and it keep trying to get up and it knocks you down, and you keep trying to get up and it knocks you down, and you keep trying to get up and you get knocked down, what's the easiest way to get out of that? You should stop trying to do what? Get up. Stop trying to get up. Because when you just rest and let the waters come, you know it's coming, and you catch your breath, you gain strength. You can see the waters clearly. You look at the patterns of the waves, and you can determine the best way to get up, the best time to get up, or when you should sit down. Can I give y'all another word that I want you to type in caps that might help you? Sometimes you don't need to quit. You just need to catch your breath. I need you to put this in all caps. Sometimes I don't need to quit. I just need to catch my breath. This for all of you that have allowed people who have been deceptive in your life to knock you down over and over and over and over and over again. Family members, over. It ain't that you need to quit. Sometimes you need to stay on the ground and catch your breath. And let's not confuse the desire to quit with sometimes the very real need that you just need to pause and breathe. This making sense? No, gas still on. Gas still on. But what that does do, Jay Haskins, is it starts to let the gas out, brother. Now, I like this because I see a really good question. Well, Doc, how do I pause with a spouse? Hey, guess what? Your husband and wife, they deserve boundaries too. And if you are married or in a relationship that has no boundaries, that relationship will not last. Well, Doc, we've been married for 40 years. Are y'all 40 years married and happy? Even married people need boundaries. You know, a lot of people out here quitting when really they just needed to catch their breath. They just needed a minute. And this is why a lot of people end up feeling gaslit in relationships because they're so smothered that the other person's behavior, their actions, their words, knocking them over and over. And you run right to the courthouse to get the divorce when maybe you just need to rest, catch your breath. So you mustered enough strength to tell your partner, stop knocking me down. Is this making sense? So if you're in a boundary-less marriage, that's not a good marriage. I don't care what nobody told you. A boundary-less marriage, a boundary-less relationship is not going to last. And if it does, one or both of you are going to feel like you're in a situation where you're being knocked down over and over and over again. This is making sense? So here we are. Let's go to the other side. Let's talk about the gas off. You're right, Mari. They put up with way too much. What if I'm in a situation where I feel like the gas is being turned off? How do I know the gas is being turned off? Now, when we think about the gas being on, I want you to think about how you feel when the gas is on or when you're in the water. Like you can smell it. So when you can smell the gas, you know the gas is on, you're going to feel like isolation. You're going to feel isolated. You're going to feel delusion. But when we think about the gas being off, think about how you feel when you know the gas is off or when you're out of water or you're out of the water. You've been pulled out of the ocean. The gas is starting to leak out of your house and it's starting to smell normal. What are you going to feel when the gas is off? Well, I'll tell you this. First thing I want you to write are the words temporary relief. Temporary relief. When the gas has been cut off, you're going to feel, and I want you to underline the word temporary. You know why that's temporary release? Because there's such a thing as being out of immediate danger, but not out of harm's way. Let's go back to the analogy. So I pulled you out of the water. You're standing on the ocean and you feel this relief. Oh my God, I'm not in the water. I'm not drowning. I'm not being pulled in. Things are better. But that relief is temporary. You know why? Because the waves won't stop because you've been pulled out. And when a person gaslights you, they can pull you away from the waves, but still keep you in the vicinity of the ocean. That, my friends, was worthy of somebody buying me a salad tomorrow. When you're being gaslit, a person can pull you away from the waves, but still in the vicinity of the ocean. Let me say it another way, because maybe this ain't making sense. Gaslighters are good at having you in positions where you can feel a temporary sense of safety and wellness, where you can go through a very, 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 very hard season, and then out of the blue, you feel okay with them. They're acting nice. They're being kind. They're listening. They're caring. After 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years of consistent waves. And so you think, wow, this is a new person. I'll never have to deal with that again. Until they let go of your hand and you fall back in the ocean. Because what we need to understand is that because somebody pulls you out of the ocean doesn't necessarily mean that makes the ocean stop. Which is why the worst thing you can do when you've been deceived by someone is to think that temporary relief brings you out of harm's way. It doesn't. Oh my God. I didn't say relief, y'all. I said temporary. Because the relief you feel is almost always temporary. So they could pull you out of the water. They could stop berating you and disparaging you and deceiving you and making you think certain things and trying to convince you of certain things that you know go against the reality of your situation. The definition of gaslight. They could do that. But just because the gas is off doesn't mean the relief is permanent. And I'm going to talk, the last thing I'm going to give you is the only way to correct gaslighting, because there ain't but one way. And this is going to become clear to you as I go through more of these steps. Let me give you another thing that happens when the gas is off. This actually happens very similar to the gas being on, so we got to be careful about this. You ready? Number 2, when the gas is off, guess what else you feel? Y'all supporting this show? I ain't going to show you until somebody support it. Y'all support my show? This is making sense. Let me give you another sign that the gas is, of what happens when the gas is off. And this sign is very similar to what happens when the gas is on. You ready? Delusion. See that? Delusion. When the gas is on, you can feel delusion because you're being beat up, knocked down. When the gas is off, you can also feel delusion. Doc, ain't no way that don't make sense. Okay. If you walk in the house and you know that your gas stove is on, but you've been told that it was off, and you feel the gas strongly, but the person standing there telling you it's not on, you're crazy. You're losing your mind. Something's wrong with you. And then you finally walk past them and you see that the pilot light is on and the gas is on. You cut the gas off, but we've got a problem. The gas has been running so long that even though it has stopped, the gas may have stopped, but the repercussions did not. Now I'm about to quit. Oh my God. Folks, when somebody has deceived you for so long, they can actually stop the deception. But stopping the deception rarely stops the damage. This is too much. Y'all ain't never heard gaslight talk like this. They can cut the gas off, but you still feel the repercussions of when they had the gas on. If you have not been watching since the beginning, this ain't gonna make sense. Go back to the beginning, y'all. I can't repeat the same points 40 times. Is this making sense to those of you that have been here? I know people that have been in spaces where gas was on and stuff like that, and they sensed something was wrong, but they didn't know. And then all of a sudden, they found out that gas there was a leak or something like that. And then guess what happens? People start vomiting. People start throwing up, vomiting. And you're like, dog, well, we cut the gas off. Why are people still sick? Because of the lingering effects of what was on for so long. Which means people can stop deceiving you. But until you heal, you can feel the after effects of their deception. This is why healing matters. Because if you don't feel healed or get healed, you will feel the after effects of deception. But worse than that, you'll connect with somebody else. Watch this. And when you connect with them, you will not only feel the after effects of the deception, you'll throw up on people that ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm trying to help some of y'all. This is how I know some of you don't need to be in a relationship right now. Because if the last person's deception still has you sick, you don't need to be with nobody else that you're going to throw up on. Some of y'all have lost good partners, not because you was a bad person, but because you were still sick from the last season of deception. And if you ain't got over that, you're going to take that same sickness and illness and you're going to throw up on somebody else. And this is why when you meet people, you got to ask them questions like, when was the last time you threw up? I'm giving y'all free game, though y'all need to support me because y'all not supporting this show. The support is crazy lackluster tonight, and it's crazy. Let me give y'all a line you can ask a person the next time you meet them. Ask them, when was the last time you threw up? They're going to say, what? No, I'm serious. When was the last time you threw up? They're going to say, what? And you're going to say, when was the last time somebody made you sick? And when was the last time you got sick thinking about them making you sick? What am I really asking y'all? Have you moved beyond the last season of pain that you were in? And many of you are going from one partner that made you throw up, and you're taking that same vomit and putting it on new people. Y'all, when the gas is on, let's go back to it. I got 1041. I got to hurry up. I've been way too long-winded tonight. This making sense? Y'all supporting the show? Let me give you a third sign that when the gas is on, what you might see or experience. You ready? I call this extreme and overwhelming, long word, behavior. Forget my handwriting, it's not the best. Extreme and overwhelming behavior. When the gas is on, you're going to experience some extreme and overwhelming behavior. Kiss that Hershey sweet. I didn't mean it like that. That did sound real petty, didn't it? I wasn't being petty, I promise. Not this time, I promise you. All right, extreme and overwhelming behavior. What am I talking about? Especially love bombing. You know what I've discovered? Show me a gaslighter, and I'll show you someone who probably love bombs. Oh my God. I found people who gaslight and people who love bomb to almost be one and the same. Know why? Because it takes overwhelming behavior to sometimes get you delusional. And when it gets you delusional, it encourages your isolation. Sometimes, y'all, we're not delusional over waves knocking us down. We're delusional over people treating us nice in ways we've never been treated before. And they really pour it on so that we become delusional and eventually we become isolated enough to be manipulated. Love bombing is extreme and overwhelming behavior. I want you to just put that in parentheses with number 3. I don't want you to lose that in your notes. I gotta hurry, y'all. I'm almost at 11 o'clock. I gotta hurry. I want you to put in parentheses under number 3, love bombing. You know, when people really pour it on and pour it on and pour it on and pour it on with no boundaries. Just pour, Next thing you know, you just so little. Oh my God, this is my bae. This is my bae. He's got 6 kids, 4 different babies' mamas, but this is my bae right here. She's got an attitude from hell, but this is my bae. Love bombing. She's so nice. She's so sweet. She does the thing. Blah, blah, blah. Love bombing. Love bombing is extreme and overwhelming behavior. And sometimes we're being set up, many people rather, are being set up to be gaslit or led down delusional paths because of extreme and overwhelming behavior. That feels good. It ain't the wave knocking you down. It feels great, but it's killing you at the same time. Number 4. Give you your 4th trick thing that happens when the gas is on. You ready? I call this consistent overwhelm. Sounds weird. Let me explain. Consistent overwhelm. So you go from extreme overwhelm to consistent overwhelm. This is in a good way or in a bad way. This is when you are in a relationship or connection with someone, because you don't always get love bombed in a romantic way. Friends can love bomb you. Family members can love bomb you. Co-workers can love bomb you. Or gaslight you, I should say. I'm sorry. Family members can gaslight you. Romantic partners can gaslight you. Married couples can gaslight one another. Whatever. Friends can gaslight one another. But this consistent overwhelm speaks to the toxicity that exists in a situation where there's gaslighting, which means very, very, very high highs. So you're really overwhelmed and overstimulated, i.e. love bombed, or very, very low lows. Where when it's bad, it ain't just bad. It's in the dumps, down in the dumps bad. Can't nobody pull you out but God bad. And that consistent overwhelm, either whether it's consistently good or consistently bad, is almost always a sign they got the gas on. And so even if you ain't sure, what's the purpose of this diagram, Doc? Why are you doing it like this? It's simple. If you want to know whether or not the gas is on or off, sometimes you're so caught up in the symptoms that you don't know where you are. Pay less attention to saying, you're gaslighting me. You're not gaslighting me, and pay more attention to the signs. In other words, pay less attention to them telling you, we didn't cut the oven on, and pay more attention to what you smell. We're going to save that for the end. How do I make it stop, go away? It's going to be easier than what y'all think. Some of y'all not going to be ready for the answer. Number 5. I'm running out of space. Another sign that the gas is on. You're going to have more signs that the gas is on than it is off. But I got one more that I'm going to give you with off. And then we're going to wrap this up. Gas is on. Sign number 5 of many, but just the ones I've chosen tonight. Control. Control is almost always a moniker of gaslighting. Show me someone that has gone through any form of gaslighting. I'll show you someone who has been in a battle for control. People don't just keep hitting you with waves just to hit you with waves. They hit you with waves because they want to control you with the waves. You know, them first cousins, gaslighters, narcissists, manipulators, they also have something else in common besides deception. It's this desire to be in control. There is this underlying desire to be in control. Oh my God. Okay? We understand that. Let me give you 2 more signs. I'm going to give you 1 more sign of off, and then I'm going to tell you real quick how to get out, and I'm done. Number 3, extreme and overwhelming behavior. I know my handwriting is horrible. Extreme and overwhelming behavior. Okay? Number 6. What I call fear through manipulation. Fear through manipulation. What does that mean? That means people will use manipulation as a tactic to keep you afraid, and that fear keeps you paralyzed. You being paralyzed keeps you under their control. When you're under their control, you will feel consistently overwhelmed. When you're consistently overwhelmed, they'll continue with more extreme behavior to occasionally bring you back out of that so you feel safe, though you're still in harm's way. Only to keep you in delusion and only to have you further isolated. Did y'all see what I just did here? Huh? Did y'all see how I just walked this up? It all connects. Last one, gas on, fear through manipulation. I know, Maury, my handwriting is terrible. I apologize. Fear through manipulation. Does that make sense? Last one. Number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last one. I'm going to give you tonight. This is easy. Toxic communication. Y'all, an obvious sign, in my opinion, that the gas is on is when the person who is gaslighting you is a toxic communicator. What's a toxic communicator? A communicator that's nice one day and mean literally seconds later. A communicator that you feel secure around 1 second, and then the next second, for whatever reason, you may not. A communicator that is easily offended. A communicator that cannot separate their thoughts from their emotions or get them to agree in a positive way. A communicator, thank you, I'm Tara Renee, who will have you literally walking on eggshells or on edge because you don't know what to expect from them from 1 second to the next. That kind of person. And this is why I tell people that just because you out of the waves don't mean you out of the ocean. You ain't out of harm's way. You're not out of harm's way. And we got to be very careful with this. Now, we got to stop that, Jamie. I'm not trying to call you out. I know, but I can't stop loving. That, my friend, is called delusion. I ain't picking on nobody tonight, but hear me. Somebody just said on TikTok, I know, Doc, you're right, but I can't stop loving them. That's called delusion. You know, when you get knocked down by the waves, but you think you can just keep getting up. You can keep trying, but eventually you're going to get tired. Y'all, we got to stop that. That statement alone is proof of the delusion. I didn't make this up. It is proof of the delusion that comes when you've been knocked down over and over again. Yes, Doc, I know they have problems, but we have 15 years together. We've got kids. We've got property. We've got business. I know they loved me at one point. I know they're a good person. That's delusion, sweetheart. We're going to talk about how to regulate nervous system. I see a question about that because the last thing I'm going to give you after one more off is I'm going to give you the only thing that really can begin correcting gaslighting. And it should be obvious by now. It should really be obvious. But did y'all see how I walked this back up from 7 to 1? Okay. Let me give you one more thing. Yeah, stonewalling is also included in this too, because a person who gaslights can also be a stonewaller as well. Number 3, when the gas is off, last one I'm gonna give you about this. I'm just gonna write one word. The gas might be off. That word is shook. Doc, what in the world are you talking about? Shook. Yeah, let me explain. Just because the gas is off doesn't mean you're not still shook. What are some signs that you might be shook even though the gas is off? I'll give you a few. Write these down. Not yourself. Not yourself. Where you literally find yourself living as a shell of who you really are. And your friends and family members say, girl, guy, I don't know what's up with you, but you ain't been yourself. And you're out the water. Maybe you've broken up with them, or you pursued or made up your mind to do something different. The gas is off, but you still shook. You're not yourself. I'll give you another one. This is a big one. Loss of confidence. Let me help y'all. Loss of confidence. When you've been knocked on your face over and over and over again and it finally ends, you real not confident about getting in that water again. You real not confident about getting in that water again. You really ain't in no hurt. And you know you are able to swim because you've been in waters before. But because that last water beat you down so bad, you lose your confidence of getting back in the water. This is why some of you need to heal. Because some of you going to make a lot. Oh, my goodness. Some of you are going to allow your ex to cause you to miss your next. Some of you are going to let your ex cause you to miss your next. That's what happens when you lose your confidence. You'll throw the whole water away because of the last person that had you in the water. Let me just give y'all the breaking news. Marriage ain't bad, just the husband you had. Ain't nothing wrong with marriage. It was just something wrong with the wife you had. Nothing wrong with marriage. It was just something wrong with your wife. Ain't nothing wrong with your marriage. There's just something wrong with your husband. And when you heal, you're going to realize that part of the ocean might have been a little bit rocky, But let me tell y'all something. I went to Antigua. I had no idea. When I went to Antigua for my birthday, the waves don't even hit the shore. The water just sits still. And some of y'all mad over some of these waters that just keep beating y'all up with waves, and you don't even realize that there's an Antigua out there somewhere with your name on it. Calm waters. They ain't trying to beat you up. They ain't trying to knock you down over and over again. They welcoming you. I'm talking about calm waters. And you're going to miss the calm waters when you still mad over your ex waters. Here we go. But in a Christian marriage, Doc, is leaving not that simple? Let me ask you this. You about to bring this out of me. I got 11 o'clock. Y'all, can I have 12 more minutes? Because I got to take 3 minutes on this question. I'm not going to call the person's name out because this is not personal what I'm going to say to her, but I hear this a lot. Let me tell y'all something. Well, Doc, what about in a Christian marriage? Is this really that simple? Can I ask y'all a question? Would a Christian marriage include isolation? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my God. Would a Christian marriage include delusion? Oh my God. Would a Christian marriage include extreme and overwhelming behavior? Oh my God. Would a Christian marriage include love bombing? Oh my God. Would a Christian marriage include consistent overwhelm? Oh my God. Would a Christian marriage include control? Oh my God. Would a Christian marriage include fear through manipulation? Oh my God. Would a Christian marriage include toxic communication? Oh my God. Y'all stop. Cut it out. Cut it out. I'm going to say it a simple way. If the point ain't been made yet, let me say it a better way. Have you ever seen a banana fall from an apple tree? Anybody? Have you ever seen an apple fall from a banana tree? You haven't, and you never will. You know why? Because your Bible says that a tree is known by the fruit it bears. And baby, if your tree is bearing this fruit, it ain't Christian. That's for all of you staying in bad marriages in the name of your religion. Cut it out. Cut it out. Stop it. Cut that foolishness out. Because if you're in a Christian marriage, it ought to feel like one. It ought to look like one. And bananas shouldn't be falling off of apple trees. Cut it out. In fact, the Bible you read said that Jesus got so frustrated. Since y'all want to have a Bible study real quick, give me 90 seconds. Jesus got so frustrated with the fig tree that was not producing what it was supposed to produce. And the disciples said, spare it, Jesus. Give it a chance. Jesus said, I tell you what, I'm going to give it one day. When I come back by here, if it ain't produced what it's supposed to, I'm not going to salvage it. I'm not going to wait for the apples to fall off. He said, cut it down. And not only did he cut the tree down, he got so frustrated that he cursed it before he cut it. Let me help you. If you still in marriages like this that you calling Christian, you putting the wrong language on it. Your marriage is cursed if it feels like this. And sometimes you got to call a tree what it is in order to get delivered from that tree. Let me move on. This is not Bible study. Let's just move on. Oh boy, I love those questions right there because a lot of y'all are stuck in bad marriages in the name of what your pastor said, but your marriage look like everything that's on the gas on. This is your marriage right here, and even some of this too. And you walk around talking about some God gonna be mad at you because you in a Christian marriage. Where the fruit at? Where the fruit at? Oh my God! What do we say? So when you shook, you not yourself, loss of confidence. Let me give you yeah, that's good enough. Not yourself, loss of confidence. We could add to that poor self-esteem. Some of you are out of bad situations, but your esteem hasn't been right yet. You're probably still vomiting. You're probably still vomiting from when the gas was on. Right? Poor self-esteem, etc. I wish I could bring the soundboard on the tour. It would just be epic if I just had a button up there. I could just be like, let me wrap this up. What's the only thing that can correct gaslighting? Let me get to it now. I need 5 minutes to talk about this. And then I got a big announcement, few small announcements, and then I'm done. Y'all supporting the show? Because if you're not, I promise you I'm taking this one down. This is for all. I'm not because I don't love y'all, but it's for the entitled people on here. What's the only thing that can begin to correct gaslighting? Go back to the analogies, y'all. The answers are in the analogies. Well, what happens when the gas fills a house? If the gas fills a house and that house is consumed with gas, the only way you can begin to correct gaslighting is that the gas needs time to dissipate and a way to leave. If you are the kid that's being knocked down at the beach over and over and over again, and you're tired of being knocked down over and over and over again, and you want to stop the gaslighting, I mean, being knocked down over and over again, the only way you can do that is to step away from the water. You ready? Nothing. This is your last note, and I'm done with y'all. If I got to walk out of a house that's filled with gas to let the gas go away, if I got to walk away from an ocean to get pulled from the waters from knocking me down, I want you to record this. The only way to begin correcting gaslighting is to walk away. Walk away. I.e., thank you, April. You're so awesome. Let it go. You know what walking away and letting it go means for some of you? For some of you, it means ending a relationship. For some of you, it might mean separation. For some of you, it might mean getting a new circle. For some of you, it might mean putting the circle you got on pause so that gas can fumigate and you can catch your breath and be able to deal with them in a clear mind to set better boundaries and expectations. Let me tell you what it's not. It ain't staying in the house. I don't care if they cut the gas off. You're going to still feel the after effects of when it was on. It ain't standing on the edge of the water. I don't care if you are standing up. When that water keeps hitting your leg, you're going to still feel delusion and overwhelmed because you've been knocked down over and over and over and over again. You ain't going to feel better until you walk off that ocean, go to your room, and then you can see the ocean from long away. Wow, I remember when I was in that water, but I'm safe in my room now. I can see it clearly. I know what not to do next time. I know who not to be connected to next time. I know where not to go next time. The only way to begin correcting gaslighting is to walk away. And that's why in 2025, you're going to hear me talk about letting go so much. Y'all are going to wish I changed the subject, and I ain't changing it. Because when you deal with letting go, you're dealing with a spiritual principle, and it's so much deeper. You don't even realize that walking away from the water not only gets you out of harm's way, it gives you a chance to start over again. It gives you a chance to let all of the sandcastles you had built get knocked over, so you can build something better. In 2025, y'all gonna fool with me and mess around and learn how to let go. You're gonna mess around and learn that the greatest power you have is your ability to walk away from anything that does not serve you. Because you're gonna discover that when you start walking away, guess what you start doing? You start getting your strength back. You start catching your breath. Yeah, you might be crying on the way back. That baby is gonna be crying. You walking that baby back to the room from the beach. That baby gonna be crying because that baby gonna be thinking about all that was there. But eventually, the closer they get to that room, them tears are gonna stop. Which means you might have to walk away and cry at the same time, but keep walking. You might have to walk away and whine at the same time. Keep walking. You might have to walk away and hurt at the same time. Keep walking. Because when you find the power to walk away from something that does not serve you, eventually you're going to get your strength back. I'm done. This makes sense? Y'all got your notes? Everybody got your notes? Everybody got your notes? This makes sense? I got an announcement. Don't go. I got a couple of things I need to share. These are big. This makes sense? Come on, type church in the comments with a lot of R's. Support the show. Because I'm telling you, when I hang up and I don't see the support right, I'm not keeping this up. Patreon, Instagram subscribers, thank you. Y'all get this every week. So y'all know. Every Monday. This makes sense? Was this helpful? Listen, I got some announcements. These are big. Big. A couple of things. Number one, you ain't got the book, get it. I might have like 50 pre-sale copies left. What doesn't happen of those 50, the next round and continuous round of the wave of books won't come out until I think the first week in January. So if you want to get this before Christmas, I think I might have 50 copies left of the pre-sales only. I really appreciate your support. Those have already started to go out. Value System ebook is out. It is great, dirt cheap. You can get it on my Patreon, get that. My client calendar for new clients is open, but it's diminishing. I don't know if it's going to make it through the weekend. I had a lot of people booked today. I might be down to maybe 1 or 2 individual sessions and maybe less than 5 packages. That's it. So you want to get on my books for January, February-ish, because I think January is already almost done. Go to my, go to my website, my links, and you can get the information there. No, don't. Very helpful, but sad. It's helpful. I may cancel my therapy session. Don't cancel your therapy session. Go to your therapy session. That's very kind of you, but go do it. Okay. Yes, you can get the value system. You don't need Patreon. Just go click on the link. Go to my links and my profile bio. You don't need Patreon. Just click on it. It doesn't make you set up a Patreon account. You can buy it right from there. You don't need it. Okay. So just go to that link and it's going to allow you to download it from there. You don't have to have an account. Yes, I'll take new clients next year, but I take new clients about once every 4 to 5 months. So it's in essence 2, maybe 3 times a year, depending on how packed my schedule is. And historically, it typically is when I open my client books, it takes about 4 to 6 months, 3 to 5 months to open it again. Can I clarify what this Saturday's focus is? Absolutely. This Saturday is the last session I have for healing and letting go. I am teaching, grieving and letting go. I am teaching a group work. It is a 90-minute group work on how to properly grieve and how that connects to your ability to let go. I have a lot of seats left this Saturday, and I was not going to cancel this session. The link is in my bio. Check it out. It's the last group session that I'm doing this year, and that might be helpful as well. It is live. It's not pre-recorded, so you're going to be on with me. And no slides. I've got my notes for the presentation. It is live this Saturday. I think it's at noon Eastern Standard Time. You can see the sign-up information on my bio. Big news. Everybody grab your calendar. If you are in the state of Georgia, or nearby, I want you to grab your calendar and I want you to mark the date, February the 8th. Y'all, guess what? My tour, the Self-Awareness Tour 2025, is going to kick off February the 8th in Georgia. Roswell, Georgia is the exact location right outside of Atlanta. It's going to kick off there. Self-Awareness Tour. It is limited seating. You know why? Because I'm not going to let y'all embarrass me. I'm not trying to pack out no 500. If I get 100 people, I'm going to be happy. I am going to be right outside of Atlanta, February the 8th, for the first stop. So yes, Atlanta is the first stop, technically Atlanta. February the 8th. I'll tell you what is probably next on the list after Atlanta is probably Houston in March. In April, Los Angeles, California. And then we're going to be coming back to the East Coast, DC. Chicago's on the list. New Orleans is on the list. Miami's on the list. North Carolina's on the list somewhere. Charlotte is on the list. So this is going to be kicking off February the 8th. I'm stoked. And I am beyond nervous in one regard, not the speaking part. I'm way better in person. I am beyond nervous because, this is just big. It's a big jump, but I'm excited. Philly's not on the list, but New York is. Ticket sales will probably start in the next week or two. And I'm going to need volunteers in every city. Every city. I'm going to probably try to have a small team of 8 to 10 volunteers per city to set up a very basic setup. And so I'll be shooting out some information about that really soon. Also, if you are a corporation or an individual donor, I've had people reach out and say, Doc, I want to actually financially support your tour. I have sponsorship packages and sponsorship information that's going to probably start leaking out over the weekend. If you are a company, organization, you know of one that would like to attach their brand, their company with my work, shoot me an email at info@zebthethird.com. I will send you the sponsorship information. It's 98% ready. It'll be ready by 8 o'clock in the morning. And I would love to send that out because it could certainly help me. I need you, Atlanta, to help me pack out Atlanta. And it's not, again, I think I'm only capping it at like 100 people. It's a small venue. Doc is not. Now, LA might be a huge one. I've got a place that wants me to come. It might be big in LA. And I'm going to need a lot of y'all to just come on to LA too. But LA's there. Dallas is not off. Dallas is on the list. Miami's on the list. New York's on the list. New Orleans is on the list. Chicago's on the list. I feel like I'm leaving. Charlotte's on the list. DC's on the list. I feel like I'm leaving one or two off. So it's going to be great. I need y'all to support. All right. I just do. If I come anywhere near you, you will have the dates in advance. Jump on a train, plane, something. It's going to be great. I'll have books with me. It's going to be a really good format where I'm going to do a lecture talking about self-awareness, obviously, but there will be opportunity for some small Q&A. It's going to be great. And I'm excited. I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now, I will also, hopefully, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, drum roll. This is 80%, 85% locked. 2026, it's going to be January or February of 2026. I am going to be doing a self-awareness cruise. I will be doing a self-awareness cruise in 2026. And you will be able, it's either 4 or 5 days cruise. It'll be fun. We will have sessions on the cruise. It ain't just all learning trip, but I will have sessions where we'll be teaching and doing different things like that. Well, it'll also be fun. Bring your spouse. I recommend that highly. Bring your spouse, partner, whatever. 2026. And I can't say the line yet. It's 85% solid. And get this. The deposit for that cruise is only $100. It is dirt cheap, the total price. I can't even say it out loud yet because it ain't ironed. And you'll be able to pay on it. $100 will save your space. And it's just great. So it's a lot going on. I got a lot going on. And I work. All I do is work. That's all I do. I got a boring life. I work, I take care of my kids. That's it. But 25, 26, y'all, is going to be big. And I would really love to have your support. I would really love to have in each city, again, at least 8 to 10 volunteers to just help with setup, to help with POS systems, to help with, checking people in, all of that stuff. It would just be great. And to really build a national network of people for future events that I've got in my mind for 2026 already. Okay. So this is going to be great. And I hope you guys will be a part of it. All right. I'm done. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm going to need your help, and looking to secure a project manager here real soon to kind of help with some of this front end stuff so I can really free up and do what I do. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all in these cities. All right. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, support the show. I'm done. 11:21. Didn't mean to keep y'all this late, but I hope this was helpful. And yes, I will give you updates. I promise you. My hope is to start putting some stuff out there even as early as tomorrow about the tour sponsorship information. Again, if you want information on being a sponsor, maybe you or another business owner or someone that you know, or maybe you're not. I've got couples. I actually have couples that have reached out to me and said, Doc, my husband and I, we want to support your work. We want to make a donation to your work and what you do. And it's just a beautiful thing. Shoot me an email, info@zebthethird.com, info@zebthethird.com. And I can have you that information probably by the middle of the day tomorrow. Got to make a couple of tweaks on it by in the morning. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Appreciate you. Peace and blessings. I'll talk soon. Have a good night. What are y'all talking about this? What tonight? Oh, y'all are acting up on TikTok. I love y'all. Yes, I have a son and a daughter. Y'all are wild. I love y'all. Good night.